Where is our nation headed? The Supreme Court orally asked yesterday while expressing deep concerns about the functioning of mainstream television news channels in the country, as they often give space for hate speech and then escape without any sanctions. Emphasizing on the need to have a firm regulatory mechanism against hate speech, the Supreme Court also asked the Government of India as to why it is standing as a mute witness when all of this is happening. Pertinently, a bench comprising Justices K.M. Joseph and Hrishikseh underscored that anchors of television channels have an important duty to ensure that guests invited on the show do not cross a line. Justice K.M. Joseph orally remarked during the hearing, and I quote here, "As far as mainstream television channel is concerned, there the role of anchor is very critical, because the moment you see somebody going into hate speech, it's the duty of the anchor to immediately see that he doesn't allow that person to say anything further. Unfortunately, many a time somebody wants to say something, he's muted, person is not given proper time, he's not even treated courteously." He further observed yesterday that although freedom of expression of the press is important, however, it is important that mainstream television channels know where to draw the line, as they hold a considerable influence over the viewers. Reflecting on the TV debates that we see nowadays, Justice Joseph remarked further, and I quote, "The freedom of speech is actually for the benefit of the listener. How would the listener ever make up his mind after listening to a debate where it is just a babble of voice? You cannot even make out what is happening." Essentially, the Supreme Court yesterday was hearing a batch of petitions seeking directions to regulate hate speech. The petitions had been filed against the UPSC Jihad show, aired on Sudarshan News TV, speeches made at Dharam Sansad meetings, and also included petitions seeking regulation of social media messages communalizing the COVID-19 pandemic. At the outset of the hearing yesterday, Justice Joseph asked as to what are the provisions of law which regulate hate speech in India. In response, Advocate Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay, one of the petitioners in this case, informed the court that a reply has been received from the Election Commission, wherein it was suggested that amendments incorporating specific provisions are required. He also informed the Supreme Court that hate speech and rumor mongering are not defined under any law. Justice Joseph also questioned as to why the union government was remaining a mute witness, and accordingly urged the government to act on the recommendations of the Law Commission of India regarding amendments required in law to deal with hate crimes. The centre was also asked to come forward and put in place an institution to regulate hate speech which will be abided by all. During the hearing, senior advocate Sanjay Hegre also stated that the media industry is unregulated and that there are no sanctions to deter hate speech. Echoing the sentiments, Justice Joseph remarked with dismay, and I quote, "We should have a proper legal framework. Unless we will have a framework, people will continue, and the most important point is, where is our nation headed? If it is hate speech on which we are feeding on, where is our nation headed?" The judge yesterday also pointed out that hate speech completely poisons the fabric of the country, and also highlighted that political parties will come and go, but that a totally independent press is the need of the hour if the nation has to progress. Remarking further on the current trend of spewing hate on TV in order to gain TRPs, Justice Joseph remarked further, and I quote again, "Any anchor will have his own views. Any anchor will not diverge from the view the channel is taking. They will all be intertwined. You can't diverge from it. But what is wrong is when you have people of different views, you're calling them, you're not allowing them to express those views. In doing that, you're bringing hate, and your TRP is going up, and you're driven by that, and nobody's going to look into it and take care of it then. It is very sad." The bench has posted the cases for disposal on November 23rd. Thank you. I'm Aratrika Bhaumik for Live Law. Keep watching Live Law for more such updates.